And I think live is in progress as well, but let me just quickly double check. Hi guys, can someone tell me, am I? I am, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. This is Christina, and a new special, no, I would say extra special edition of the Truth Runners Talk Show, because I have the immense pleasure to have again on my platform Ronald Dillard Jr. Welcome, Ronald, and Shirod Greene, who is new on my platform. I would love to welcome from the bottom of my heart, both of you. Thank you for joining me here today. I know you guys are very busy, so I truly appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's a great pleasure. I'm like, oh my God, they are film directors, producers, and I have them in my show. I mean, this is so amazing. So you guys, if you are watching, this is the perfect opportunity for you to get to know about the entertainment industry, to get to know about filmmaking, photographing, producing movies for Hollywood or not. And I would love to ask Ronald, can you please introduce yourself just in a couple of words, because people already know you, and we introduce Shirod as well on the platform.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having us and having me. It is always a treat to be here to always to speak with you. I'm Ronald Dillard Jr. I'm a writer, director, producer, and actor. Fortunately, did 4 different films that we, myself and Shirod, were able to put into different film festivals. We were able to get 240 selections, and we won 67 awards, both domestically and internationally. And I've always said here, you've always heard me say at one point, I have to stop for a moment and I have to thank Shirod Greene. Well, fortunately today we have him with us. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a gentleman who not only does he encapsulate wisdom, hard work, integrity, intelligence, skill, and also he is really, really good in a crisis. You know, like when times really, really get tough, I mean, he really kind of basically stays there. He's able to think on his feet. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Shirod Greene. Shirod, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
It's amazing, guys, because I know that you two worked on a couple of things together, and you were supposed to be on the last show, and we said Shirod, and Shirod was nowhere. So I'm actually, I don't know the English word, but I'm going to find the word delighted that you are here today.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I want to go a little bit different here and just get just a little bit vulnerable. But from knowing you, Shirod, you have so much greatness within you that I think you now have realized that at one point you did not. And I want to talk. The reason I want to bring that up is not to put you on the spot, but for a lot of people, a lot of times, greatness is here. But sometimes if we don't recognize it, or we don't rehearse it or practice to get to the point where we can accelerate that greatness, then it can be a loss. And I've seen you go from here to here, not only from self-education, but also self-awareness, from actually working on different things to take yourself to the next level. So talk about that before we get into your journey.
Got you. So I would say that's a journey in itself. But I think the only way that I was able to get there is with a support system, and you being a part of that support system. And I would also say the trials of the industry, like the repetition of doing something and, you know, completing it and then looking back at it and saying, okay, well, I think I should fix this next time, and implementing that each time. I mean, you have no other option but to, you know, progress and get better. So I just looked at everything as an opportunity to learn, and then take those things that I learned and implement them next time. So I think that is what really propelled my abilities to do these things in the crisis, like you said.
Now, you have a diverse lot of interests, you know, from music to, you know, you're very, very creative. What is it that made you say, hey, I want to make films or commercials or videos, or saying that directing, writing, producing, and directing? You know, because I don't want to miss out on exactly, you know, the work that you do as a producer and as a writer, as well as a director. And then again, director of photography, I think you do that very, very well, because it's specifically in a monster, we open up in that church, I'm looking at that green in the background and I'm loving it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
what is it that made you say, hey, I want to focus on this? How did that become a love or become your trajectory?
I think that's a great question, and I'm not sure if many people know, but originally I wanted to be a music engineer for like Disney movies. So I was always in love with music. From elementary school, I played percussion instruments, and it's always just been something that I loved. So when it was time for college, my first attempt at college, I went and I actually pursued the dream of being a music engineer. Because of monetary issues, I wasn't able to make it out to the school to actually complete the degree. But you know, I've always held on to the passion for music. So after not being able to go to that school, I stayed in my town and I started to produce music for, you know, some local guys, and they needed music videos. So now I started to make their music sound good, and then they just needed better music videos at that time. So my grandmother had bought me a camera like the Christmas before or something like that. And I said, I can do it. I mean, I don't know how good it's going to be, but you know, I got a camera and I'm interested in photography, so video can't be so hard. So because of that, it kind of sparked the interest and got me to pick up the camera, and I started doing it. And like I said, I saw things that I didn't like, but I also saw the potential in what it was. And I was like, man, I would love to do this over and over. So I started taking like scraps as far as money goes, just so I can get the practice. And, you know, after I just continued to just became something that I was like, you know, I can actually tell a story. This can be more impactful than what I'm doing right now. So let me just focus a little bit more and figure out how to tell a story.
Now, is it fair, because I don't want to get into too much detail, is it fair to say that you come from, or you've been in at certain times in your life, environments where you look to the left and look to the right and say to yourself, I don't want to stay here. I have somewhere where I want to go. Now, I bring that up because of this, because in a situation like that, it's not easy. And I'm only bringing this up because if somebody's listening to this, sometime if there is no support, you have to be the support. I'm not saying it's easy, but you have to want more, and then you have to put a plan together to get more or to do better. So for you, and being strong-minded, how did you make that transition?
That's a great question. I'm not exactly sure. I'm just going to give it all to God, because, you know, I don't know. I don't know how I make it out of a lot of situations that I do. So I'm just going to put it all in my faith in God, because he's the only thing that continually gives to me, and I can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's unbelievable what he's done for my life. So I don't know what else to say other than God.
Well, I'm never going to take anything away from God, but I also know that, you know, faith without works is dead. And
oh yeah, for sure.
I do feel like of you sitting here saying, hey, I want something, and then going after it, which can be scary, which can be frightening. But at the same time, to sit here and say, you know what, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to move in this direction. There's a lot powerful for that. For anybody that find themselves in a situation where it's not too nice, or it seems like it's hopeless, you know, what is it that you want to do? How is it you want to go? And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but what I am saying is putting a plan together and making steps toward that plan, it becomes more possible. So I that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think a lot of it is just belief. Like, you have to believe in yourself. And I don't know if anybody watching right now believes in like zodiac signs, but I'm a Leo. I'm very ambitious, and in my works that comes across, because, you know, I put a lot of time into the things that I do. So I like for that to be seen. And I guess in the background, I have a lot of confidence in the things that I do, because like I said, I put in the hours, I've studied, I've done all the practice. So, I mean, if I'm going to do it, I know that it's going to be to the best of my ability. And that's all that I can do at that time. If it doesn't come out to the way that I want it to be, it's just another opportunity for me to learn and implement the next time. So I kind of look at it as a strategy. It's just like repetition. The more I do, the better I get.
Now I do want, this is going to be a little bit of an inside joke. This will be a little inside joke for me and you. On brotherly love. Now, recently there was a question about editing in our local community, and I got to tell you, Brotherly Love became the movie it became because of your editing. Okay,
Yes.
You actually won an award for best editing.
Wow.
I know.
Nobody.
It was wild.
I'm sorry, everybody. This is a little inside joke, but I would help myself if I didn't do that. Okay, so I'm sorry, I had to do it. Okay, so now, if you give me a camera a lot of times and you set it and everything else, I can move like a dancer with it, right? But a lot of technical things, you seem to speak it like a second language. How did you understand? Because you'll turn it on, you'll set it right. I'll ask you questions. I feel like a caveman. I say, Shirod, Unga, I have questions. Unga. And he'll be like, it's just this. I'm like, okay. For some reason, I don't get it. Like, I pride myself the writing, the producing, the directing, the acting. I like all that. But when it comes to technical stuff, you speak it. I didn't understand how much of a challenge I put towards you for you, the sound and lighting and camera, because you came to me, it was like, hey, sound guy. I was like, okay. But how did you get to the point where you could understand all of this technical stuff so well?
I've always been a technical person. Like, I mean, you guys are speaking to a digital native. Like, I pretty much grew up with Nintendo, and you know, that was our language growing up.
That's
so I think
mine.
these things, so these things just naturally kind of came easy. But as far as understanding what it was, again, it's just the repetition. So learning how to take a photo in manual mode was probably the most helpful thing that I've ever learned as far as cameras go, because once you know how to do something manually, you can adjust whatever you want. And once you know the little nuances of what I'm changing, once you understand what you're changing and what it does, then you can, you have free range to do whatever you want with the camera. And those settings don't specifically change from camera to camera. It's pretty much the same thing from camera to camera. So it's no way for you to not know on one. The menus might be a little bit different, but the technicalities are pretty much the same.
Now, do me a favor, please share your website for anybody to check you out, because they keep saying, he keeps talking about he's great, let's see something. So share your website really quickly, please.
Yeah, so my website is www.shirodg.com, SHIRODG.com.
One more time. One more time, just in case they're from the computer, they got a pen and listen. One more time.
And one more time for those in the back. It is www.shirodg.com, SHIRODG.com.
Okay, guys, we're gonna put that in the description as well, and also in the comments. And also, Professor Ambassador McFarland said, belief in oneself is the stepping stone to creating the reality.
Yes,
knowing
100%
you
agree.
and getting in touch with what your passions are can lead to huge success. Blessings and greetings from South Africa. So I'm sorry, before we go, I would just go back a little bit when you were saying about believing in yourself. Because you said that you wanted to do music, you had to do photography, videography, right? If you have someone else from the first difficulty, let's put it this way, they would say, okay, life is shit, I'm not going anywhere, okay? They would take it as a failure. Yet you, what did you do? You said, okay, not that direction, I'm gonna try the other one. Even if I don't know it, I'm gonna learn it, and here you are. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Believing in yourself is the first step. I don't think that you can really make it in this industry without believing in yourself, because it's so many times you're going to be told no. So many doors are going to close in your face and you don't even understand why, because like there's a lot of competition, but there's also a lot of comparison in the industry, and you find yourself comparing yourself a lot. And in situations where you aren't getting those opportunities, you don't understand why. So you just got to constantly believe in yourself. And it's funny because I'm wearing one of my friend's shirts and it says, "Thank you for believing in me." It's so funny.
There we go.
Well, so just to let people that don't know, so the 4 films, When We Pray on Them, A Monster, The Color in Your Eyes, My Brotherly Love, They were all produced. They were all co-produced. They were the director of photography, the editor, producer was Shirod Greene. He took this journey along with me. When I saw the shots that he had done in the concert, also some of the photo shots he did on different shoots that he was in, I was mesmerized. And I didn't know him, and I asked him out to lunch, and I asked him if he would work with me. And I feel like when you do something like that, you need to come to table with as much of the vision as possible and let them know, here's my plan, here's what I want to do, here's what I expect to do, and here are my deadlines. And fortunately, he could see my passion, and he agreed to work with me. It is a debt that I don't know if I'll ever be able to repay. What I do know is, what I hope is that when he worked with me, because when we work together, like Shirod knows, I'm a Ridley Scott fan. I'm not about rushing, but I don't want to take all day. With Shirod, with every location we've ever had, we've always given them back 2 hours.
How did you do that, guys?
So if they gave us 8 hours, we knocked it out in 6. When we pray on them and we went into the jail, they gave us from 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. the next morning. We were walking out of the parking lot at 12:15 at midnight.
Wow.
So, so when you talk about being prepared, like he believes in being prepared, he believes in efficiency. I know for me, I try to plan things out for months in advance because that's always been an advantage for me. But Shirod, so now I want to talk about we talk about the films before. You know how grateful I am to you. Let's talk about where you are now and where you want to go.
Yeah. So right now I am in the process of finishing my creative space. So I think the last thing that I worked on was back in I don't know, it was maybe like a couple years ago. But that's just because life hit me. A lot has like changed in my life right now, but I'm finally getting to a place of stability and getting back into like the swing of being creative. So I just finished, actually I sent it to you, Ron, was it yesterday or something like that? I just finished a script for a commercial that is in collaboration with a film that I'm going to be working on. So the first part is kind of creating this world, and this commercial is like the introduction to the world that I'm creating. So I'll be working on that soon. And then, like I said, there's going to be a film, but I'm also going to get back into doing a lot of local productions here. I don't want to talk about it right now just because I don't have it down on paper and I don't want to share the ideas until, but just know that, once this creative space is done, you guys are going to see a lot more of what I have.
Now, let's also talk about For Colors Only, because on one of the films that you were able to do in collaboration that you directed very, very well. It was a very pleasant shoot. Was a film called very serious film called For Colors Only. Talk a little bit about how that became to fruition and where people can see it if they would like to.
Got you. So For Colors Only actually came from the time of George Floyd's death. So there was just a lot of emotion, and locally here to Richmond, we had a lot of like protesting, and things were happening in our backyards that you can feel. Like it was an energy in the city that you could just feel. Like driving downtown, you would see all of the buildings boarded up and graffiti everywhere and just cops everywhere. It was a whole vibe at that time. So I personally care about my safety, and I couldn't be out there the way that a lot of other people were, but I still have a voice and I needed to express how I felt. So because of this, I had the idea to kind of come up with this idea of a woman inside of her house, but the entire film is just her going off, and it seems as though something is off within the film. So the camera angles give you a sense of feeling like she's being intruded on. Like sometimes you're watching her, she's still going off, but it's from a mirror. And it's not up close and personal. It's just kind of tucked off. So it's called For Colors Only because she's inside of her house and she doesn't feel like she can still be herself inside of her house. And eventually, she's taking away from her house, even though this is supposed to be a space that she's safe in.
And where can someone view the film if they would like, if they'd be inclined to?
You can view this on my website that I just gave you guys. So if you didn't hear it, www.shirodg.com. But yeah, you can view it on my website. It's also on Vimeo. If you want to reach out via, I don't know how you guys reach out, but I can give you guys the link any way that you want. You can find me on social media as well at Shirod G, SHIRODG. everything's pretty much the same.
Now, we all know that for me, the next step for me is doing everything I can to be a showrunner. I've created now 5 shows, 3 on my own, 2 I've co-created with others. And that's what I want to do, because not only do I want to tell multiple stories over multiple seasons, but I want to give opportunities. I want to work with a lot of different people, you know, and you being one of them. You know, I dream of that one day episode directed by Shirod Greene, you know, which want to make that happen. But for you, if you had carte blanche and let's say a studio or network sat down with you, what would you want to do? Would you want to do features? Would you want to do television? Would you want to do all of the above? What would be your dream situation? Or ideal situation?
I think I would do all of it. It's the Leo ambition. It's the Leo ambition. I feel like I have enough creativity to, you know, be on a big screen or to be on somebody's TV screen every week. So I feel like I can do either.
That would be an ideal world. I mean, if you would have anything, you know, the finances, the background, I mean, the support, right? You would do all of that. But I know you guys working in the entertainment industry as independents, right? Independent directors. You guys face challenges. What was the biggest challenge you faced during the movies you collaborated, the short films you collaborated together?
I think the biggest challenge is always, I think it's a couple of things. I think one is finding people who are as passionate as you are and that are going to do the job the way that you expect them to do the job. And then the other thing is more so like a technicality of locations, because we are, excuse me, because we're in a place like Richmond, we don't necessarily have all of the sceneries that match our ideas. So a lot of it is compromise, and a lot of it is just trying to find people who can understand the vision enough for us, or understand the vision to allow us to use their space. So I would say that that's probably the hardest things in my opinion. What about you,
Ron? Those are definitely difficult, you know, as far as especially having access to it, because a lot of times if you don't have a huge budget, that could be that could shortchange you. The biggest thing I found to overcome that is planning out. When you walk up to someone and it's September and you say you want to shoot something in May of next year, when the way they look at you is totally different. Right. Because having that, but the biggest challenge I faced when us working together was, and the film will not be named, we had a situation where I just blanked out. We were on set and we had a large scene to do, and one of the people that we're working with, they didn't know their lines, and I was basically like, shut it down, we'll come back or whatever have you. Luckily Shirod was right there. He said, no, let's do X, Y, and Z. And I'm so glad you were there thinking on your feet, because I was not, you know. So, and when you made that suggestion, we basically got everything we need to do. We made our day. We were able to come back again. We were able to get the shots that we needed, and everything worked out. But I said that the reason why I say that situation, because in that situation, I didn't even think about what you were thinking of. So thank God you were there, you know, because I would have done it a different way, and it probably would have had, you know, another outcome, and I would have burned the day where we got so much done. I think we shot 30 pages that day. You know, whether
wow, I don't even remember.
We shot 30 pages that day.
It's crazy. Oh yeah, because we went from one we actually did.
Yeah, we shot 30 pages one, you know, because of the way of the bulk of the way that it was done. And for me, and also being independent, a lot of times my mind, you know, when I write television shows, my mind can go anywhere because I know that there should be a bigger scope. But when I do the independent films, I try to keep it to the point where minimum locations if I can. For the next films that I want to do, I think we want to kind of open that up a little bit, but not too much to the point where it becomes a challenge or we back ourselves in the corner, because that's something that you don't want to do. But a lot of times it's fine to be creative and you want to think of all the other stuff, but when it comes down to, for example, it's great to have a bar scene, but then it's like, what bar are you going to use and how many people can you get in there?
Right, and then how are you gonna light it, and then all that.
Yeah. You need enough cameras that you get all that cover. Yeah. You get that done in 6 hours.
And that leads me to a question. I think, you know, we know the production phase and when you shoot, but there is some pre-phase. What happens there on the pre-production phase? You know, when you do the lighting and all the stuff.
I'm gonna. I was gonna say, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of pre-production I come to Ron for because Ron is amazing at planning. Ron knows how to get me in line and get my thoughts in line because sometimes like I'll come to him, I'll be like, all right, look, this is the idea. This is how I want it. I don't know how I'm gonna make it go. And then Ron's just like, all right, so this is how we're gonna do it. And I just find that our partnership is perfect because like he said, I know a lot of the technical things. So when it comes to how are we gonna do it, I can answer those questions. But when it comes to like, okay, how can we get this done? Ron is the man. So Ron, I'll let you take it over from there.
Well, first of all, compliment of the year. So thank you for that. But when it comes down to it, when I get a chance to engage and talk about anything creative, it's like I'm on the Warner Brothers lot. So for me, it's like Christmas morning. It's about figuring out a problem because, like one of the things I never want to say to Shirod is that's not possible. I don't want to say that because I'm not trying to become a downer. I'm sitting here saying, we can do this. Do you know enough people? Or can we start planning this out? Because one of the best things you want to do in pre-production is start to answer questions you don't know the answers to and things you do not have. For example, for one of the films I'm looking for a diner. I've already contacted someone that I've already sent them the script. So, and this may not happen until next year. So depending on that, I have time. The best thing you can do in pre-production is identify everything that you need, everything that you want, and everything that you don't know, because you need to start getting answers to those questions. If you want to do a shootout scene and you've never done it before, who do you know? Who can you find? Who can you do research? And the best thing to do is to give yourself, I don't care I've talked to a lot of different filmmakers. I've seen them spread it, giving your, like, listen, Warner Brothers does not do Harry Potter in 2 months. They plan that thing out. And you will realize there's no greater feeling than you've been planning this thing for 7 months. You show up on the day, everybody shows up, they have their food, they go in, you make it, you leave out, and there are no problems. There is no better feeling than that. But because a lot of filmmakers, they want to do something right now. I gotta do it right now. And it becomes a very big challenge, and it may not come out the way they wanted to. Every single film that me and Shirod have done, with the exception of one that we did in Northern Virginia, and the one because of it wasn't our fault, had went smoothly because we planned them out. So pre-production is very important to think about everything that you want to do, how you want to do it, what you don't know, what you don't have, and trying to get all of that by the time that you want to shoot. And you want to be realistic about it, even if you have to save up for it. So,
yeah, I do. I want to piggyback on that too, just because I looked at pre-production a lot differently before I met you, because I would think in reality versus thinking in a perfect world. And by thinking in reality, I kind of limited myself, like, oh, okay, I do want to do a gun scene or, a shootout scene, but who's going to allow this, local filmmaker to do a shootout scene inside of their grocery store or something like that?
yeah.
But Ron kind of helped bring my mental back and understanding, hey, look, even if we can't figure this out, this is what we're going to shoot for from the beginning. So if we have to land somewhere else, that's totally fine. We can always, dial it back or something like that, or figure out some way. But try to get your way first. Don't count yourself out first. So once again, shout out to Ron for helping that.
If you still have a shootout scene you want to do, I know a guy.
Perfect.
I know a guy. So I'm actually going to check something out in another week or so. I'm going to go be checking something out. So I'll tell you about that. So when it comes to that. So
please do, because I'm always down for a shootout scene.
Yeah, so and I think it might be a location that you could probably make work. But another thing for me is that working with Shirod was seeing how good he was, and him saying yes to me gave me confidence, because being in the area that I am, and this is another thing for anybody that knows, in the city that we live in, there are a lot of people that know me, that know what I do, and I don't really get as many calls to work on different things like Shirod does, and it used to be a big shadow to my confidence, because I was thinking, I work hard, I think I'm good, but it didn't seem like anybody wanted to work with me. With him working with me, and then with our awards, it gave me the validation to be like, you know what, if that doesn't happen, it's okay, but you still can do this. And that would not have happened had you not said yes to working with me. So as I always say, thank you so much again. And like I said, anytime that I can be of service to you, it is my honor. like I said, it's like Christmas morning for me because I love thinking things out. I love, making things happen, especially for production. And then it also, especially with the mind that you have and what you want to do, because you have some pretty awesome ideas. So I'll just say that.
Thank you. And I mean, I gained a friend in the process, so I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I absolutely love how you two guys just flow together and you kind of find, each other and working together. Because here's a question what I always wanted to ask, but I think I'm going to do it now. When people do the normal long movies like 2 hours, 160 minutes or something like that, all right? There's a story told in 2 hours. Now, your movies are short, yet the story, the message what you are sharing in those 20 minutes, is really, really powerful. How challenging is for you as director and for you as producer and videographer to put that strong message in 20 minutes?
For me, not challenge. I go back to Ridley Scott. When they asked Scott, when you have good preparation, first of all, if you sit down to write something, do you know what you want to write? Why are you writing it? Why are you putting the scene here? For example, in When We Pray on Them, Ryan J. Wilson's character was there only to deliver information. But through Ryan and I working over the course of the months, we found another purpose, a bigger purpose that made a louder message. And you had to know that. So when you see that flashback and you see him sitting beside me, it should register, whoa, because he didn't come off to be on our side, So to me, it comes down to preparation. And a lot of times it's good pre-production preparation. A lot of times you get on set, it should really be easy. Things can happen. And thank God bless the things that did not happen. But when Ridley Scott talks about making The Martian, and he says what was difficult about it, he said with nothing really. It may seem arrogant, but if you understand his preparation, Arthur Max's preparation, everybody he worked with, you understand, how like with American Gangster, 50 setups a day. That's not easy. But these guys roll, and like with Shirod, I'm talking about this man will set up a shot in a time like somebody might go to the laboratory, they come back, he's already got the shot set up and ready to go. Like you go get a soda and he's already ready to roll. So if you blank, you're gonna miss something because the way that we get on the set, on the way we just move, it's a gift. It really is a treat.
Yeah.
So what's in next for you two guys? If you want to share, of course. What are the next steps? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so I think what's next for me is, like I said, I sent Ron a script last night, and we're already bouncing ideas back on how, we can make this better. And he's telling me like, certain things that he thinks that I missed. So I think definitely for me, that's going to be my next big thing that you guys are going to be able to see.
Is that a movie?
No, it's a commercial actually, but it's leading up to a movie. So, but it is leading up to a movie. There's going to be quite a few. I'm not going to say quite a few, but there's going to be a few commercials. Just because I'm trying to build a world and I'm trying to do filmmaking a little bit differently or on the big boy level. Because one thing I feel a lot of us independent filmmakers lack is marketing and getting our films out. We send them to film festivals, but if the film festivals don't pick it up, what else do we have? Just a film.
And that brings me to the question, what do you guys think that it would be the best way or how you can best market the work what you are doing? Okay, not on film, okay, big film festivals, all right. But other than that, how can you get out there? How can you, as short filmmakers, get yourself known? Because you guys, you have a very strong message. I absolutely love your movies. I mean, it's amazing what you are doing. And me personally, honestly, I would love the whole world to know you. How can we do that?
Yeah, so before I took my little hiatus, I was doing some content creation, and content creation has now blown up. So just allowing people to enter your world, whether it's, just pulling up your iPhone and saying, hey, I'm at this restaurant today. People kind of gravitate towards that because it's your life and it's not their life. And if it's not their life, it's more interesting, even if you think your life is boring. So for me, it's going to come down to content creation and, just creating YouTube videos again, allowing people into the process, because like I said, we are going to be making these commercials and things like that. People love behind the scenes, whether you're big or small. Somebody's going to look at it just because at some point they're going to be at your level or above your level or below your level, but we still learn from every opportunity that we get. So I think just allowing people to enter in my world and see what I'm doing is how I'm gonna, get these things to where I want them to be. And then also, I graduated from college doing media communication. So I'm gonna try to take all of the stuff that I learned, and that's why I'm creating a commercial now, because it's like I'm thinking nobody markets their movies. So I'm like, okay, how can I market my movies? And the big guys, they make trailers, but people are expecting those trailers. So for me, I'm going to create a commercial that gets your attention and it makes you say, all right, what is this? And then when you see my film, you're going to be like, oh, okay, this was a part of this. And now I understand why the commercial was like that and why this part of this film is like that. So I'm just trying to create a world.
Thank you.
For me, one of the things that Shirod has done, as we can see, is he's become a student of marketing and understanding marketing. And I think that that's something that I could do a better job of understanding as well, because to understand how to successfully market is probably going to be a good way to get people exposure to know who you are and what you're doing. But for me, what's next for me is a couple of things. Number one, my main objective is supporting two filmmakers. One of them is Shirod, and the other one's a gentleman out of Jersey City named Bricks Davis. So basically, I think both of these gentlemen have given me a lot in their own ways. And what I want to do is I want to support them, because I want to, whenever he's ready, to ensure we get his commercials done, his films done, because when you are a director and you're a creator, it's to help someone get theirs out, but you can't forget they have stuff they want to get out too, and you can't spend all your time trying to help someone else achieve their vision and then lose sight of yours. It doesn't work that way. So I want to do everything I can, because the next 3 films that I want to do are already written. I'm currently writing a 4th one, and of the 4, we're going to pick 3 to do those. But also we're going to be looking for funding for those. So once we get the funding in order for those, then we'll see what happens with that. Unless someone comes over and gets one of the television shows, then we'll go straight into that avenue. But right now, for me, I'm more focused on how can I be supportive to Shirod? How can we get his films to where they need to be, so we can start rolling those out, because he has great ideas. And again, I love collaborating with him, because to me, it's like sitting back having coffee on a Warner Brothers lot. I love it. I truly enjoy it.
And that's why I truly, truly love you and your work. And I love you, Shirod, as well, because here he is, director, producer, actor, yet promoting another producer, film director. It's not about competition. And this is what I absolutely love about you guys, because I know that that's going on in the entertainment industry, yet both of you, all you try to do is just to lift each other up. And I think that's amazing. And that's absolutely beautiful. And I would also love to ask you, because you said, Shirod, for example, and you, Ronald, also, you had a vision, you have a dream, but you didn't just sit there and wait. You worked hard for it, let's face it. You do work. You constantly learn, you constantly grow. You said, oh, okay, let me try this. Even if you don't know how to do it, you try it out, and you don't give up, because you don't consider if it doesn't work. You don't say, okay, I failed. It's okay, I learned something, I'm going to try again and do it differently. So I would love to ask both of you, what is your message to those who would love to enter in this industry? I know, Ronald, I asked you this many times, but there is always something new. There is always something more we can share with them. If they want to go on this way, let them be producers, videographers, how they should start, or where they could start, and what is it they need to do in order to actually move toward their dreams.
Got you. I would say the first step, again, is just believe in yourself, even if it's not looking the way that you want, or even if things aren't going the way you want. Don't stop believing in yourself, because everyone was an amateur at some point. I wasn't able to create an image the way that I do now 2 years ago. My work now looks different 2 years from now. So everything is going to take time. Just don't give up, and don't doubt yourself. I know it's easy to doubt yourself, just because once again, things don't, you'll look at a feature production film and think that your stuff is supposed to look like that. And that's just not true. There's a lot more people. There's a lot more things that go on to make those films look like that. So just give yourself grace, believe in yourself, and never stop learning. Take every opportunity as an opportunity for you to get better, and always strive to make your stuff look a certain way, or strive to get to where you're trying to go, so that you can land where you are and then figure out how to get there from there. I learned that from Ron, and I keep saying it just because when I look at movies and I understand what it is that I want, when I don't hit that mark, I understand what I have to change to get there. So that's the only way that we can get there, you know? So just believe in yourself and continue. Don't stop.
Thank you.
For me, the first thing is decide. What do you want to do? If it's what you want to do, and why you want to do it. I say that now because you're looking at someone that spent 5 years in self-doubt. What I realize now in that 5 years, a lot of creative juices were dead because of the doubt. Decide. If you want to be afraid, please hide under your bed until you're finished. But if you really want to do this, and then also is set yourself up for success. Who do you, if it's a class, a book, who do you know who does work that you like? I'm a Ridley Scott fan. And fortunately, listening to his commentaries on his DVDs and his behind the scenes has taught me so much that I owe that man a debt of gratitude, because preparation is key. Script is Bible. So what, if you want to be a director, a writer, producer, actor, I'm a huge Gary Oldman fan. My next big roles, I'm hoping to transform so that you don't see me, that hopefully you don't even recognize me. That's the expectation. If you want to be a producer, Jerry Bruckheimer, you know, or what type of producer you want to be, you know, because when you look at Jerry Bruckheimer, he gets a script. He likes to write movies and produce films that he would like to see. He wants to be interested in the story. That's the key. So, but then who do you agree with? Because you might be somebody who Darren Aronofsky makes sense and you want to go that trajectory. I think that's great. Not so much for me, but research, set yourself up for success. If you want, you might want to make a feature that's going to be 2 hours and 17 minutes. Is that a reality? Now, unfortunately, I make the longest shorts anybody's ever seen. And I've recently been criticized for, even though when you look at Netflix, some programs are 47 minutes, some of them are 22 minutes, you know, but at the same time, I make, you know, to me, it's about whether it's supposed to be 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Does it keep your attention? Does it drive conversation? Does it make you reflect on the film and make you have an opinion about it? Does it make you just spark conversation ultimately? So
I do have opinion about all of your movies. So
Thank you.
no, I absolutely love them. And before we close today, I would love to ask you guys if you have no, I never ask for advice, but a message for people who are watching us now live, or they are going to watch us in the replay.
Yeah, I would say never give up. This is not a career that has a destination. So once you understand that you're not striving to get a specific place, you're striving to master a skill. And I mean, of course, people become like great at certain skills, but I don't think that this is a skill that you'll ever master, because it's something that is always going to evolve. You know, new cameras, new technology, there's always going to be something new for you to learn. So, you know, always be inquisitive and never give up.
Thank you. I love that, because yes, everything always evolves, and as you grow, everything grows, and as they grow, you grow all the time. Right. I love it. Thank you. So it's just about continuous learning, and just mastering yourself, mastering self, really.
Right.
Thank you, Shirod.
Of course.
If you stay ready, you never have to get ready.
I love. He said that, and I love that.
I love that too. He does say that a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. I do. I mean, it's brilliant.
Also, look to partner with people that have similar ideas, but also have something to offer. For example, for all of Shirod's help that he's given me and worked with me, I have no problem showing up on his set before he gets there and set up things. I have no problem doing any of the jobs. I don't care about clout. I don't care. I care about serving. When I'm on his set, that's his set. I don't have to sit here and be like, well, I did. No. How can I serve this production to make sure it's excellent? Because the more that you do that, and then with other people that you work with that come on that have the same mentality and same philosophy we do, how can we help get theirs there? Because what you end up happening is you have 15 projects that are all solid and look fantastic between like 5 individuals. That right there is powerful. That right there, if you look at some of the biggest titans in the industry about how they work with each other, collaborate with each other, and pretty soon they all work together on the same project, then they expand, and then next thing you know, there's 30 different projects between 7 different people. That's what I want. You know, we want the people that come in that really wants to put the work in. Like I have my superpowers. I don't have to flash on Shirod. Shirod got his superpower. I want everything to look like Paramount Pictures. I don't care if it's his or mine. That's it. You know, so because I know that on his own, Shirod Greene is bad. On my own, I'm bad. And so, you know, so we can only be better together. That's what I think. So you're right.
That's you're right. You're always better. We are always better together. I'm absolutely grateful for you guys, really, for coming here, for being in a Truth Runner. You shared some beautiful insights. I must be very honest with you. That's why I always love having you. If you guys are watching this live again, just please drop your comments and also put your website, Shirod, on the comments and the description. I'm going to put Ronald as well. I hope I'm going to see you guys soon. I want to thank you very, very much from wherever you are in the world for watching us today. I'm sending lots of love and light to all of you. And I'm going to say goodbye for now. Bye.